What's up people, Andrew Gosling back again. We're at the end of the third round of ASBK right here at Tailem Bend at the Bend circuit, and for some reason I've had a whole bunch of people say, when are you going to do your next vlog, when are you going to actually give us an update on what you're thinking. Not quite sure why. I made a few comments, but here's my thoughts on the weekend. The racing, the circuit, how it's all come together. First thing, there were some very unfortunate things that happened over the weekend. Sam Lambert and Brock Pearson both got some fairly major injuries, and hopefully they'll both be back racing soon. I know Brock said on social media that he's got no intention of coming back and racing anytime soon, having broke his back again after some horrible injuries he had early last year. All I can say is to both of you guys, just get well, and hopefully we'll see you back. If you don't choose to go on racing, that's fine, but I mean, I know both of you are really great guys and you love racing, and hopefully you will be back at some stage, hopefully soon. On the positive side, great weekend of racing. Troy Herfoss won the Superbikes, Crew Halliday won the Super Sport, and Tom Bramich won the Super Sport 300 for the round. All of which had really great racing, and the track sort of lived up to potential for producing great racing. Downsides, it is still an absolute tyre killer. Lots of people still have problem with tyres. Some of the tyre budgets that I've heard kind of make you cry a bit. But a lot of tyres were used up over the weekend. Again, the problem is it's the only the second major event that's happened here. There was a large car race here last weekend, and that's not really enough to really lay down properly rubber in the track. Before we come back here next year, hopefully there will have been for sure a lot more racing. There'll be a lot more rubber down. On the other hand, it might always just be a track that's hard on tyres. Let's face it, I mean, Phillip Island destroys tyres to one degree, or, you know, quite heavily. Some tracks are easy on tyres, some aren't. It may just be something that this track is always going to do. We won't have the answer to that until next year when we come back again. But there'll be lots of track days, club days, V8 supercars, you name, Shannon's National, all those will have been here before we get back here again. So it'll be a totally different track. Whether it still destroys tyres or not, we don't know. General consensus on the track, I haven't really heard anyone say that they don't like it. Most people are very, very enthusiastic. The overall impression is that people are very enthusiastic about the whole complex that's here. The fact that the pit garages and the paddock area are world class. There's no doubt about that. Are they right there at the moment? No, they're not. There's still issues. Probably the biggest complaint about the pit garages I've heard is that within the roller doors there's no portal door access. It seems like a small thing, but at the moment, if it's really windy, for instance, or for whatever reason, if you shut the back door of the garage, or shut the back door, the only way out is to open that door. There's no just a small way of getting out the door, and quite a few people have mentioned that. You know, the sad thing is that this is not the only track where that's a problem, and on the flip side, everyone's happy to have garages that are, you know, the size they are and the luxuriousness that they are. Unfortunately, not everyone gets a garage, and as you can see back out here, there are a lot of marquee type garages. Again, that's, you know, unfortunately, if you're going to have, we've got the full Australian the majority of the Australian Superbike field and Asia Road Race here. So you've got a lot of bikes, a lot of people. Not everything is going to fit into a pit lane. It's exactly the same as Phillip Island, Eastern Creek, and let's not even talk about having to go to places like Wakefield Park and others where pit garages are either poor standard or in some cases not even non-existent. We could be down the road at Malala at the moment and you have sheds out the back, and pit lane doesn't even have a cover. So hopefully the same company that owns this, the band now owns Malala, and so hopefully that can improve, and maybe one day we'll end up back there, who knows, as well. But overall, again, facilities people have been happy with. Negatives on that is things like people who have been camping, the camping area is very, very basic at the moment. But what do you say? The track is still a long way from being, well, not a long way, but it's still some time away from having all the little extras and the things like campgrounds and that actually ready to go. You know, talking to some of the people here, we could have held off and could have waited, and part of me says that yes, we should have waited another 3 or 4 months, but on the other hand, sometimes you just have to jump in there, do it and see how it goes, because you don't learn what you haven't got until you've actually tried it out. And again, to the credit of the people here, certainly the ones I've dealt with, they have been very, very receptive when you've said something. You know, they've actively encouraged you to say if there's a problem or if there's something that you can see. This is something that I'm just not used to. Like I've been to tracks all over the country, and most of the time you don't even bother. If there's something, it's just that something that's not right, you don't worry about it, because nobody's going to change it. At least here they acknowledge the fact that they're learning the track, and until you bring in a large number of people and a large number of, you know, competitors and support and media and all those things, you don't really know, you know, what's going to happen. The media was in an area on what's listed in the elevator as the 4th floor, but it's actually the 3rd. Ground floor is listed as 1 at the moment. The view was awesome. The area that we're in will end up being a major corporate area, so major events, you know, someone like Red Bull will hire the like, and it'll be a corporate area. The view, amazing. From my perspective, very, very impractical, because we were having to use an elevator to get down. Just the timing factor. The permanent media area is going to be down either on the ground floor or potentially on on the 1st floor, and that's fine, because then you can you're on the level you need to be at, or you can use the stairs and you can move quickly. Things like that. It's when you're the first, you know, first or second, it's, you know, you're a crash test dummy, and as long as people are willing to acknowledge the fact that it's not as great as it should be, and that there's things that have to be improved, and actively look for it, then I'm happy. I'm fine with that. Overall, the weekend for me was long. It's been 4 days, but in some ways, because the Asia Road Race was here and I didn't have a lot of commitments really to that, I'm almost finished. It's, I don't know what time it is, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock now, and I've pretty much got everything I need done, and that's primarily because the Aussies were finished. The last Superbike race was done and dusted by 1:30, something like that, so pretty much had the whole afternoon to work and then come back to the room and finish off. So from that perspective it's good. From a 4-day race perspective, it's kind of like a World Supers or MotoGP, where more World Supers, because then there's usually bikes on track for 4 days. But tiring, but good. Personally, I can't find any huge negatives. As I say, whenever something's been brought up, the people here have been more than happy to actually go, well, yeah, okay, we can look at that. I've heard people, you know, complaining, but the majority are very happy with the place, and I think looking at it more from the perspective of 12 months time, I think it'll be awesome. It's still really hard to get around at the moment, but once the grass grows and once service roads get at least, say, compacted with gravel or something like that, hopefully sealed. I mean, if they're, you know, sealed or concreted would be the ultimate, but at very least some sort of compacted granite or something like that, so that they're solid. Because I did notice, even though certain areas they were very much cleaned up from the test, as the weekend's gone on, it's been dry. There was a little bit of rain on, I guess, Friday night, but you know, the ground's broken down, and it seems like it's a really soft, powdery ground when it dries out. And getting around is still scooter territory, and you're still a long way from the track, but there's been some holes cut, photographers' holes cut in the fence, which is great. It gives access and clean shots to a number of areas, and there's more of those that are going to be installed over the coming weeks and months, which again is good. Well, I think I'm tired, I'm wrecked, I need to get some sleep. I've got to drive home tomorrow, which is good. I'm looking forward to being home, even though there's a whole bunch more work to do there. But for now, I think I'll say goodbye. I'll do the old, if you like this, give it a like, subscribe thing, and I might hit the sack, get some sleep, be ready to go in the morning. Catch ya.